I thank my colleagues, the Directorate of Housing at the Ministry of Land, Housing and Urban Development. Patrick and your team, thank you very much for making this happen. I thank our colleagues from the National Housing Corporation and all of you guys for making this happen, because this is the kind of conversation we need to be able to move to the next level. But I stand here concerned that we know what needs to be done and we are not doing it. And to an extent, government probably bears a measure of greater responsibility. I often would like to speak candidly and very sincerely to fellow Kenyans that in the housing sector, time for action actually has come. We know what needs to be done. We have been talking for a long time. We have prepared so many documents. Time is here for us to now begin doing the things we know we need to be doing. And I want to ask you guys, now that I have spent the last few minutes scanning through what we have been discussing since morning, looked at the expectations we had and the discussions that have gone on from here. My suggestion is this. We now need to get the show on the road. So I'm going to suggest, PS, that we immediately form a team. I would like to have a small team, today, not tomorrow, representing the agencies that have come up here. We translate the resolutions we have come up with into a matrix and develop an action plan and come back to these people in the next 3 months and report to them what we have done as a result of this meeting. Because it cannot be that we talk today and talk tomorrow. I've had this a long time. The deficit we have, the housing gap we have, 200,000, and we're watching this, going on. We've done good documents, and government is committed to doing this. As I've said, our focus really, and the marching orders we have been given by the office of the president, as a result of the commitment that the president made to the nation, that we try to come up with at least 3 million units by, 300,000 units by 2017. Okay, so how do we achieve them? How do we do them? Government cannot do this on its own. I said this in Athriva on Friday when we broke ground, when we started a construction where a private developer is doing 2,000 units in Athriva. And I said there is no way, and it's not practical to expect that government can do the 300,000 units on its own. Government can only do this in conjunction with the private sector. And we must do whatever it takes to involve the private sector effectively, support the private sector, facilitate those who are putting resources into housing for us to be able to deal with the housing situation in our country. Otherwise, we will be telling stories year in, year out. And look, let's be honest with you and tell you, those of you who are not in government, that certain things frustrate even us in government. The last 4.5 months, I've been acting, these 4 or 5 months, I've been acting at the Ministry of Land, Housing and Urban Development. One of the most frustrating experiences I've had, and I have to tell you very honestly, is the very annoying bureaucratic drama of doing meetings around the police housing. We go do a meeting, the housing people go do a meeting with guys out there in Arambe police unit and so on. 2 weeks later, somebody writes a letter discounting virtually everything that was discussed in that meeting. Then we go back to square one. We just spend time, flying letters around and so on. That doesn't achieve results. And when you look at it clearly, if I have to be very honest with you as a public servant, 2/3 of that flying of letters around is protecting interest, it's corruption, it is racketeering around procurement, and so on and so forth. This is not the way to run a country. We will not work this way. So let's be honest with one another and say time has come to do the right thing. And the right thing is government cannot build the houses. Let's allow private sector to do this. Let's find a framework where we work with private sector players to do the construction. I am totally for the idea of us thinking differently. In fact, I've been telling Dr. Ikera as I sat there, what's wrong with us? Are we so foolish? We've done things this way for a long time and we haven't done many houses. And so we continue doing them this way and hope to do more houses. What's new? We've done it this way, that business of that drama of having committees, meeting, going there, back and forth, public procurement, who, what not, board. It's so, sometimes you are lost in that maze of very irritating bureaucracy, where this document has got to go to so and that so returns it back. You spend about 7 months trying to come out with a decision to do something. In 7 months, a private developer has built houses. And so how can we work that way and hope to actually deliver services to the people of Kenya? So my view is this: we in government and we in the housing department must now open up and work smart, work intelligently, and work sincerely with the people we serve and do the right things. So we have a housing bill with CIC right now. The housing bill makes very radical proposals. And I hope that the CIC will clear this within a month or so that it goes to Parliament. Upon enactment, 2/3 of some of the proposals will be taken care of, in my view. We have revised the building code. We've done our bit, basically, and I hope it will be in Parliament, before the end of the month. Once enacted, we'll address the concerns of, allowing affordable technology and so on, so that we can do houses for, low cost or low income earners in this country. We want to use the leverage we have as government. Now I've just asked the PS right now. Within the next 1 month, I would like to organize a meeting with governors that focuses on housing, so that we come together with governors, make very specific proposals to county governments on what kind of facilitation we expect and how best we can work with them to support the development of housing in county governments. That is how we contribute. That's how we help move things forward. And so I would like to suggest that we translate all these issues that we have agreed, come up with a matrix, and come 3 months later and report to these people what we have done with these discussions we've had. The proposals that are being made here about working with the National Treasury, Retirement Benefits Authority and so on, and lifting the threshold and looking for alternative mechanisms of funding housing. I mean, this is smart stuff. This is brilliant. This is what we need to do. So why can't we do it? Let's go ahead and do it. Because I keep saying this, during this day and age, we have an opportunity of a lifetime. And let's do things that will make a difference in our country.